This video is going to show how to control the placements of the holes for a drawer cabinet or a multiple drawer cabinet, or where to place the holes on the top drawer of, say, a base cabinet. So I've entered in a base cabinet with using a drawer style of base with 3 drawers. We'll come back and learn more about what this style is, but we're first going to go through and look to see what we have. I'm going to calculate nest. And what we are going to take a look at is how these holes are placed and knowing how they are placed. So I've taken this drawing, exported it out of the nesting, and brought it into VCarve Pro. And I've laid out the drawer fronts as a cross section. These heights of the drawer front are part of that base style, or the drawer style within Cabinet Parts Pro's settings. So let's go back into Cabinet Parts Pro and take a look at the settings for setting up the drawers in the different styles. We'll first look to see how these were placed, and then come back and look at how to add a different style or a different placement for these holes. So going into Tools, Settings, then clicking Drawer Setup. The style, by default, there's 3 different styles here: base, a test 2, that is just one that we were testing with, and a vanity. So coming within base, within the base cabinet, we are selecting to use the Blum drawer hole pattern, which we will talk about that in a separate video. That is where how the back hole is getting placed. But in this video, we were only covering the heights of where these holes are getting placed. So within this base style drawer cabinet, we have the different drawer options. How many drawer boxes are we going to have with this cabinet? In this case, we have the options of 1 through 4. The cabinet that I have entered in uses 3, so it is a 3 drawer box. Once we select the quantity of drawers we are going to have for this cabinet, it opens up a series of text boxes. They are in order from top to bottom, 3 different drawer heights. So we have the top drawer height is going to be 6 3/16. The middle drawer is going to be 11. And the bottom drawer, even though there is a value here, that drawer becomes a variable height size. We're not able to specify the height of the very bottom drawer, and that is only because the heights that you enter in may not completely add up. So the bottom drawer is what becomes the variable. The drawer box height are specified in the boxes on the far right side. Then this is the part that we are going to take a look at, the layout that we've created in VCarve Pro to explain how this was done. So we have 3, 3.5, and 3. We'll make a mental note of those heights. So the top one is 3, middle one is 3.5, the bottom drawer is 3. We're going to close that. Before we jump over to VCarve Pro and discuss that, we're going to look at some of the reveals. I'm going to go into Add the Doors, the reveal between. So this is 1/8 of an inch. This is the distance that the drawer is going to be between each drawer. Clearance, or typical 1/2 inch for a frameless cabinet. You might even set the 1/8 of an inch in between there. The top, it's kind of tight. Typical might be 1/8 of an inch, or sometimes 3/8 of an inch across the top. But in this example, we have it set to a 1/16 of an inch. And the reveal across the bottom is also set to a 1/16 of an inch. So we'll make mental note and remember those. Top reveal is a 1/16. The between is 1/8 of an inch. So now that we know those numbers, we'll take a look at VCarve Pro to see how that was constructed. So the first thing that we have is the top reveal from this point here to the lower point here. That is a 1/16 of an inch. We see that in the X direction located here. The height of this drawer front I drew in at 6 3/16 inches. So this hole is placed from the bottom of this drawer up to the center of this is 3 inches. That X is 3 inches. That value is again coming from our settings. Coming from our drawer setup settings under base, and it is a 3-drawer base. That is that 3 inches. So to get the 3.5, we then come down, top reveal of a 1/16, drawer front of 6 3/16 with an 1/8 of an inch reveal. The bottom or the middle drawer is going to be 11 inches. So coming over into VCarve, the distance between is an 1/8 of an inch. The middle drawer front is 11 inches. So that would be from the bottom of this drawer up to the center of that hole is 3.5 inches. And again, that is coming from our drawer styles of 3, 3.5, and then our bottom drawer is 3 inches up. So these distances, the whole distance is up from the bottom of the drawer front. So the bottom, that 8 3/16 is is the variable again. The actual size based on having an 1/8 inch reveal between the two fronts and a bottom reveal of a 1/16 of an inch. That makes this bottom drawer on a 3-drawer base 12 9/16. So we had back down to 3 inches. So again, we were 3, 3.5, and then the bottom was 3. So coming back into VCarve Pro, the distance from the bottom of this drawer front to the center of the hole should be 3 inches. And we see that that is. So that is how the drawer heights are being affected on the drawer hole locations on the heights in the placement of each drawer. If we needed to have these up a little bit higher or down a little bit lower for an undermount drawer system, they might need to be lower. We could come back into our VCarve Pro, or I'm sorry, back into Cabinet Parts Pro, and make modifications to the distance from this hole. If we're using an undermount, we might have that set all to be 1 inch. And once you've made that change, we will save this selected type, and we will now see when we make a change from 2 back to 3, our 1 inches are set. So going ahead and closing our settings. And remember, settings changes only affect newly entered cabinets. So I'm going to select new. Just unchecking some of the unnecessary items there. It's a drawer base. We will add that to the list, and coming back into our nesting, we now see that all of those holes have shifted down. To confirm these hole locations, I'm going to come back into VCarve Pro and just select this first cabinet, and I'm going to move it to a new layer and just call that first. And we could come into our layers tab and change the color of that layer first to say a red, just so we could see the difference in the import, the paste. So coming into Cabinet Parts Pro's Nester, going to edit, then copy to Vectric, coming over into VCarve Pro, right-clicking and selecting Paste. It pastes in that nested sheet. And we can now see the new hole placements are farther down, and they should be a distance of 1 inch above the bottom of our drawer. And all is looking good. Hopefully that helps explain how to precisely control where the heights of the drawers are placed and the drawer guides are placed within Cabinet Parts Pro. A future video will explain how to create the hole placement for the back row and the front row of holes for a selected drawer brand.